Thank you, guys. This story takes place on the bus that rides past this theater every 20 minutes. The number 4 bus, that's my A1 fishing haul. It's an insane asylum on wheels. You get stories on that bus whether you want them or not, every time you ride. This story took place on a ride 2 years ago, about 2.5 years ago. I was on the number 4, riding from downtown LA. At the last bookstore, I was on my way to the Echoplex in Echo Park. I had my first show where I was opening in a full band slot before a band at the Echoplex, which was my goal when I got out here, to do stories with bands. And I was really excited because the Echoplex is this huge indie rock club where I've seen all my favorite bands. It's a legendary club. It's where the Rolling Stones had their first show before they went on tour. It's where 9 Inch Nails had their last ever show before their last farewell tour that they did afterwards. It's just a great club. I wanted to have a clear mind and make sure I was ready to just deliver the best set possible, because I was going to do 20 minutes. So I hop on the number 4 bus, and I know that it's going to be distracting, but I try to be centered. But there's this one guy who's talking to the bus driver, and he's so distracting that I can't stop looking at him. I'm sitting in the first pair of seats opposite the driver, after the handicapped and adult seats that are on the left and right-hand sides of the bus. And this guy's sitting in front of me, and he's talking to the driver, and he's got this weird look. He has this green, dirty, kind of wrinkled suit with like dirt stains on it, and he has a red tie, and a red shirt and a Hawaiian tie with a pineapple on it. And he has this comb-over, jet black shoe polish haircut that's kind of combed over like this. And he has a mustache that's got 2 symmetrical rectangles that are also dyed the same shoe polish color. And he's talking with this pattern where he's kind of clapping his hands and marching his feet like this. And his gig is that he stands on the sidewalk in Bunker Hill, and he asks lawyers and bankers for money. But he explains that he's the best at it of all the people asking for money on Bunker Hill, because he wears a suit, and he approaches the bankers and the lawyers as if he's one of them. And he said, and I only ask for $100 bills. $100 bills, $50 bills, or $20 bills. I don't ask for singles, let the other guys grovel in the gutter for the change. I ask for the big bills, and that's why I make the big dollars, because I act like I'm one of them. And then whenever we come to a stop, he would just politely go, "Excuse me," and he'd just kind of step back and let everybody board and kind of do his clapping thing. And then as soon as the bus would take off, he'd go, "So as I was saying," and the bus driver would just kind of be nodding in the rear view. And like, I've kind of forgotten about my set now, because he's kind of flashy. He's got like a silvery jingle bracelet, and the story makes sense, because I understand that ask high, take it down theory, and I'm unemployed, so it's hard to make money in this town, so I'm always open for new ideas. And so I'm kind of keeping an ear open, but I'm also trying to think of the show. So he explains that he makes way more money than all the other guys on Bunker Hill because of this approach that he uses, and he's trying to get the other guys to do it too, just out of professional pride. But the other guys have no interest in it. So he decided that he would challenge the other guys to a bet to prove his point. He explained to the driver that he said, I reached in my pocket and I had $44 because it was only noon, and that was after breakfast and cigarettes and coffee. And the other guys combined had $4. So I told them I would challenge them to a bet. I would take $20 versus their collective $4, that I could stop any person walking down this street, the next person, and have him walk to the end of the block and back, using my approach of asking 150, 20, and by the time he walks to the end and back, he'll have earned $25. And if he does, I will take your $4. If he doesn't, then I will give you this $20. And of course, they took the bet, because that's a great deal. And now, by this point, we're at Echo Park Boulevard, and we're waiting. He's like, "Excuse me," and I want to hear the end of the story, but my stop is the next stop, and I have no idea if this guy's ever going to end his story, because this is the number 4 bus. I don't even know if there is an ending to this story. He might just be making it up to pass time to get to the beach. And but I want to know, because I don't make money. I sleep on a deflated air mattress in a dining room, so I'm always up for options. And I have a suit jacket and pants that kind of match it. So I could go out there and do it. But I gotta know, I got one more stop, and then it's going to Silver Lake, and I'm missing my show. So I'm hoping he'll get to the point. And he says, well, I was in luck. The first guy who walked by, I was hoping he would be a young lawyer, and he was. I wanted a young lawyer because I wanted a hungry guy, and lawyers will do anything for money. So I explained to him, look, you walk to the end of the block and back, and if you get $25, then I win this bet. I'm trying to teach these other people to use this proper approach out of professional pride. But I tell you what I'll do. Regardless of whether you make $25 or not, I will give you this $20 bill just to prove my point. So all you got to do is walk down and back using my approach, asking for hundreds, 50s, and 20s. And you'll get this $20, but if you make the $25, you keep that too, I'll still give you the 20. And the attorney says, wow, you'll give me $20 just to walk down and back? I'll do anything for money. I'm an attorney. So the bet was on. But at this point, we're leaving Echo Park, so I have to get off the bus. And I don't find out how the story ends. And I'm so bummed out. Because it's not like this guy's going to show up at Busted. And it's not like he's going to show up at a Moth or something. So I'm never going to find out how this story ends. And I want to know if it works. I'm ready to wake up the next morning and go to Bunker Hill and find this guy. Because, if it makes money, I want to do it. And because there's no money in storytelling. So the show ends. It's a good show. I have a good time. But I can't get this guy out of my head with this, clapping and the suit and the tie and this 150-20 theory. And I want to know if the bet worked or how he ended the story. So I get on the bus to go home. It's about 1 in the morning. Turns out it's the same bus driver. So I'm like, awesome! Now I'm going to know how the story worked out. And so I say, excuse me. I was on this very same bus about 8 o'clock. I got on about 7:30 at downtown LA to Echo Park, and you were talking to this man. He was wearing a green suit with a red shirt and a Hawaiian tie with a pineapple, and he had shoe polish, dark comb-over hair, and symmetrical mustache that was also dark shoe polish, and he had a silver bracelet, and he'd kind of go like this while he was talking, and he was explaining how he's the best panhandler in Bunker Hill because he asks for hundreds, 50s, and 20s and acts like a lawyer, and he bet all the panhandlers that he could stop anybody, and he stopped a lawyer to go down and back, and he'd make $25, and if he did that, he'd win the bet, and I had to get off the bus. I need to know how that story ended. You know this guy I'm talking about, right? And the bus driver pauses, and he looks at me, and he says, oh, I'm sorry, boss. I'd like to help you, but you gotta be more specific than that. Bus drivers have way more patience than I do. Always thank your bus driver. Thank you.